Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is tips to keep positive. Well, I'm happier, and I'm a happier man, much happier than I used to be. And part of the reason is I've learned how to keep positive and keep switching, keep my mind focused on the good and trying to be detached and being a little less serious and sometimes a lot less serious. So there's all kinds of things you can do to keep positive even when the life seems like it's all falling apart. So it's Saturday morning and I'm going up to visit my mother. It's pretty early in the morning here. I was gonna go to meet up with my high school buddies. We were going to go to a college football game. One of the buddies' sons is playing, so it was going to be good to see him play. And there's going to be a handful of my good buddies from high school who I just absolutely love, and that's a good one, is to have people you absolutely love. And we were gonna, have a tailgate and watch the game and probably party out, kind of an all-day fun, right? The kind of thing that I just really love to do. Now, I know it's not good for you to drink all morning and afternoon and night. I know that, but it is good for your relationships with your friends and having a great time and loving life. So, but I'm not doing that. So the reason I'm not doing that is I'm going up to visit my mom. We've got this family, this thing in the family that's really difficult, and I want to go to support her and help her with whatever needs to be done, keep her mind off of troubles. So that's kind of one of the tips to be positive, is to be flexible, not have to do so many things. Kind of try to minimize your responsibilities, that if you can. In a lot of men, you get there's so many responsibilities, so many things that you think you have to do, that you have no flexibility. Like today, it wasn't like my party, right? It's not my son playing. I'm not hosting the party. I was just going to enjoy it. So there's a built-in flexibility. I'd only committed to bring a few minor things and beverages for myself. So by my not going, it won't be, I'm going to miss the fun and they'll miss the fun of me, because I'm I try to add a little life to the party if I can. But I was able to make that decision to say, even though I really wanted to go, even though I went out yesterday and bought all kinds of gear that I needed for the game today, boots, pants, and all, expensive, right? So I spent a lot of money in preparation for today. Now that stuff will hopefully be of use at a different time. But the flexible and being flexible and minimizing the responsibilities you have and the commitments, all the extra things in life, besides going to work each day, I like to I'll try to do that. I'll check back on that. I'll have to look at my calendar. I just find that if you make it keep yourself a little bit flexible, or a lot of it flexible, life becomes much, much simpler. And that doesn't mean you never do anything. I have a lot of fun, have a lot of things that I really try to do, but sometimes you got to figure out what's the priority and then move and then do that. So in this case, my mom is the priority. My own fun, not as much today. Now, of course, I do love getting together with my mom. I enjoy it every single time. It's always wonderful. She's a wonderful mom to me. But I would have rather waited another week, because we're going to get together next weekend anyway. But, I think she needs me today. So the flexibility is good for you to keep positive. That way you don't get so depressed when your thoughts of what you really wanted to do don't come true, right? Because I really wanted to go to the game, but that's just not going to work out today. So the flexibility to make some changes, if you really need to, will go a long way to staying positive. And then the other, like I said, the flip side of that is to kind of minimize your responsibilities a little bit. Instead of always having to be the one who does everything, let other people kind of pick up some of the slack. You got to be totally responsible for your life. If you have young children, less than 18, you're going to be responsible for them. But, a lot of you are trying to be responsible for your adult children, for your wife, for your girlfriend, for your parents, for your siblings, for whatever else in the world. And I think it's a mistake to over responsibilize your life. You add value where you can, and at times you'll probably get into something that you have to take total responsibility for. You're probably the man for the job at that time, right? Now, like for example, with this thing with my mother and the family, I have a feeling, at some point I might have to take total responsibility for it. Of course, I don't want to, but I haven't formulated the plan yet. But it's maybe it will be. Maybe I'll have to take a bunch of responsibility and do that. But sometimes you gotta go and learn what's going on firsthand, so you can understand it and make an informed decision. Don't just sit in the back and chirp and chime and complain and criticize. Well, figure out what to do and then do it. That will help you. Another one with being positive is trying to figure out what to do and then doing it. And that works into, of course, my 3-step plan, right? The one is to get your mind right and do plenty of thinking, planning, and all of that. And then 2, take the appropriate action once you know exactly what to do. And then 3, rest, heal, recharge, and grow. You'll love that idea if you get into it. So, again, getting back to the keeping positive tips. First one was flexibility. Second one was kind of dampening down your responsibilities somewhat, and being overly committed. The third is, use the 3-step system to know what to do when the time comes. Maybe another one would be to try to keep things a little lighter. One of the things that we all love the comedians for is there'll be some terrible tragedy in the news, and they'll get on and make total fun of it, right? That kind of dark humor, that really helps, to tell the truth. That really helps. If you can go to a funeral and be able to laugh, that will help you, right? In times of terrible tragedy, that will help you. Because life is, regarding the death, we all are going to die, so let's not get too hung up on the timing of it and the problems of it. So, the terrible, you got the murders and the child molestations and all of the crazy terrorism and the warring and the drug abuse and the hurting people and all of that stuff is really so terrible and tragic. But yet, if you can kind of just say, that is the way of the world. That's the way it's kind of always been. There's always this tragedy and terribleness. Let's find a way to poke a little fun at it and relieve some of that enormous tension around it. Keep it light. So when I go to visit my mom today, I'm going to try to keep it light. She'll tell me all about what's going on, and I'll listen, and I'll try to help to formulate plans. But there's also the idea of I want to keep it a little bit light. Keep it a little bit light. Sometimes you might want to keep it a bit light. The more of your life that you keep light, the easier it is to be light even in the worst of circumstances. So let's say in your normal day-to-day interactions, you're all worked up about paying the bills and getting all your work done and dealing with all these people and all these problems. And then that's not even a normal tragedy, right? That's just normal life. Well, if you can keep it light, be in the habit of keeping things light all the time, making fun of things as gently. I'm not saying I'm not keep it light and be gentle with people. People need to be gentle. If you're gentle with people and poke fun a little bit, not hard, light. And that's what I mean about light. Keep it light, light, light. Life is so beautiful and so wonderful if you can keep things light and easy. So what else? What else can keep you positive? Well, you want to be detached. Law of attraction says to be detached from the outcome. So you'd like the outcome. Maybe you put it in your mind, you write it down, you work toward an outcome, but you don't necessarily need that outcome. Maybe that outcome will come. Maybe it'll be something better. Maybe it'll be something similar. Maybe the outcome won't come right away, right? But be detached. That's a very hard concept to grasp, the detachment, because most of us we're so wanting something to happen the right way. Like you'll get paid and you'll say, well, I want to pay off that bill that's been bugging me now for quite some time. I got a nice big paycheck. Now I'm going to use that whole paycheck to pay off that bill. And then you're planning on that, and then the 2 weeks comes and goes, there's the paycheck. But in the meanwhile, while you're planning to pay off that bill, you had all your normal bills came in. And now what are you going to do? Well, you can't pay off the big bill because you got to pay all your normal bills. Oh, you got to get detached from that paying off the one and just deal with the day-to-day. If you keep positive, if you're positive, you'll pay off your bills and they will pay off. So that's it. I think those are kind of my main keeping positive tips. Before I end, though, there's probably one more that I should talk about. And it might be even the most important one. It's the focusing on your life, right? Because when you're dealing with other people and the normal problems of life, you tend to get down and depressed and irritated and frustrated with the other people around you, right? So this thing I'm going to see my mom about, well, it's not me, it's this other person, right? So I'm focusing on my life. So, one way I've suggested is when people ask you how you're doing, you could just be honest and say, well, I'm doing great. There is this thing in my family, though, that's pretty darn terrible, and we're struggling through it. But I'm trying to stay positive. We're trying to help. Wouldn't that be a way to keep the emphasis on you and your happiness, and you're trying to help this situation, but there's a limit to how much you can do for another person. there's no limit. There's no limit to what you can do for yourself. There's no limit. The examples are out there. They're staring you in the face every day. There's no limit to the kind of grand, glorious, wonderful, abundant, prosperous, happy, whatever filled life you can imagine for yourself. There's no limit to what you can do for yourself, but there's an enormous limit on what you can do for others. So that's why I say to focus on you making your life great, and then the others you're helping the people closest to you. That's what I'm trying to do. I help the people closest to me, and I focus on what I can do. The bigger, stronger, faster, richer, more prosperous, happier I am, the more I can help others. If I'm none of those things, well, how do you help? And so focus on you. That's might be the best tip I've ever given to anyone, is to focus on your own life and do the best you can with it, and then you have more to offer others. That's it for today. All for now. Thank you.